guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to film 50 things that you can declutter from your home right now. So obviously there's going to be quite a long list of things here, so I'm going to jump straight into the first one, and that is Christmas cards or old birthday cards, ones that you've been keeping aside maybe for sentimental reasons. Chances are you probably stashed them away somewhere out of sight anyway, so you're probably not getting any use or even looking at them very often, so might be worth considering just finally getting rid of the Christmas cards and birthday cards out of your home. I personally can be quite brutal when it comes to that kind of thing, and literally a few days after Christmas or birthday's over I just have to get rid of them because I just can't stand having like loads of stuff out on the windowsill and things like that, so that's one of the first things to go for me. Next thing is clothes that no longer fit you. And whether it's perhaps you've had a baby and you've got some maternity clothes, perhaps you've lost or gained some weight recently and you've sort of keeping these clothes that you think you might be able to get back into, when in reality if you haven't fit into them for quite a few months then you might actually be better off just getting rid of them, and then if eventually you do fit back into them you can always buy a couple more bits to add to your wardrobe, and that probably will fit your style a little bit better then anyway. For me, if I have quite a few sort of clothes that don't fit me anymore sitting in my wardrobe, it's this kind of like horrible feeling that I've gained weight, I can't fit into these clothes, and it's just sort of a bit of a horrible reminder. So maybe let those clothes go, and like I say, you can always purchase some more to add to your wardrobe in the future. The next thing is odd socks, and I don't know about you, but my house has a sock thief and I will find kind of one trainer sock that doesn't match the other. Probably have plenty of socks anyway, like plenty pairs of socks, so if you have a few mismatched ones then just get rid of them. And the next thing is stained or kind of stretched swimwear. Obviously when you use swimming costumes in pools and stuff, the chlorine can discolour them and they can get ruined really quickly, so if you do have any swimwear that you've sort of not used in a very long time or is kind of a bit ruined from use, then do think about decluttering those. Next one is wires, cables, any kind of electrical equipment that are like no longer serving a purpose. I mean, I went through my electricals box a couple of days ago and I found 2 or 3 wires that I have no idea what they do, never seen them before, they've probably just been in that box for 2 years. I always tend to hang on to those kind of things and just store them away, when in reality if I ever do need them in the future I can always order a wire or cable on Amazon or something, it's probably not that hard to find. Number 6 is the hanging sort of wooden home decor prints that say like happy home or live life love or whatever they tend to say. I can't stand them, so I'm just being horrible about it, but it's the kind of things that like hang on door handles. I just can't stand them. I don't know why they bother me when I'm trying to open doors, and maybe if you do like them but you've got like 3, 4, 5 of them, just maybe try to decrease that number because it does obviously add to like visual clutter in the home. Number 7 is catalogues and or magazines. I've never been the type of person to collect magazines, but I know my sister is. She loves a magazine, so if you do happen to have a few lying around that perhaps you haven't got around to reading yet, or they're just sitting on a bookshelf, definitely think about decluttering those, especially if you're not reading them regularly. Like if you've got sort of home catalogues or brochures, things like that, if you haven't looked at them in the last 6 months then definitely think about decluttering those. Just pass them on to a friend perhaps who you think would get good use out of them. Number 8 is old mobile phones, and like I say, these kind of things people just tend to hang on to because obviously you sort of bought the handset, so you own it, and might store a few photos on it which you can easily put onto a cloud, and then you can actually send those phones off and get a little bit of money for them and they'll recycle those into new phones. The next thing is coasters, and generally speaking you probably need like 4 maximum coasters in your home, so if you have more than that then maybe think to declutter some of those, and if they're in a set then perhaps you could give them to like Goodwill or a charity shop or something. Number 10 is shopping bags, and I mean like the bags for life kind of thing. they tend to build up so quickly. Like, very often our top cupboard in our kitchen will get filled with bags for life, whether we've forgotten them sometimes and we don't want to buy plastic ones, we'll buy another bag for life and think, oh great, like we can use that forever. But they do tend to build up, and obviously they take up quite a lot of room. So if you do find that you have too many, then perhaps you can give them to family members and they can use them. But yeah, you don't want to have too many bags for life. It's quite nice to keep a couple in the car boot though, just so that obviously you are less likely to forget them when you're out shopping. Number 11 and 12 are very similar, and they are physical DVDs and CDs. I think I've owned one CD for the last 5 years, and that's because it was just a sentimental item for me, but I've since decluttered that anyway. And the reason for it is because most things you can get online now, especially CDs. Like, you can pretty much listen to anything on Spotify or you know, iTunes or anything like that, Apple Music. So DVDs is maybe a different question. I know my partner loves DVDs and he's got sort of his own little collection, but I do make him go through it regularly to get rid of any ones that he definitely won't watch. Number 13 is books you haven't read or books you just know you won't read. So if you've had books sitting on your bookshelf for like a year and you don't have the sort of interest or motivation to read them, then probably look to declutter those. And if you have read them, perhaps you could pass those on to family members who you think might enjoy them as well, or give them to charity shops. I know book people love to find them in charity shops, so that's quite a good idea. The next few ones are like digital related, so you could go through your emails and declutter them. That is something that I desperately need to do, because I have thousands that I just need to delete, and I always get so scared that I might need one. But I definitely need to go through my emails, especially my junk mail, because they're not serving like any purpose. And a really great one is to go through your images and videos on your phone, which obviously take up a lot of storage, so that'll be great for the storage on your phone, but also it just makes things a little bit more manageable when you're going through your images and videos. You could, if you wanted to and you had a little bit more time spare, you could go through and put your pictures in actual folders so you know exactly where to go for certain things. And the next thing is apps on your phone, and these sort of things just tend to lie dormant on your mobile phone even if you haven't used it for like a year. Definitely go through and delete the ones that you're not using right now. You can always install them again if you want to revisit them, but having a bit more of a sort of organised and tidy phone screen will probably make quite a big difference. And then the last sort of tech one you can declutter is your laptop, and you can go through your really old documents that have probably built up over the years, and your images. If you want to keep them, you can use an external hard drive. That's what we do, and that just frees up loads of storage on your actual laptop. And if not, then definitely just delete them. The next one is gym wear that you don't think suits you or you don't tend to gravitate towards. I've got certain types of activewear that I just gravitate towards in my collection, and a few of them I just don't tend to wear as much, whether that's because I think they're a bit more uncomfortable or they just don't like flatter me when I'm exercising. Definitely declutter the ones that you're not wearing so much, and you can always just sell them on Depop. You don't have to like give them away or anything or put them in the bin. Number 19 is manuals for appliances, and it's probably one of those things that when you get a new appliance you just shove the manual in a drawer and think, oh, I might need that one day, when in reality you've probably never looked at it before, and any information or questions you might have about your appliance you can probably find online anyway, so probably best to just throw those straight away. Number 20 is along a similar vein, and that's like boxes that come with tech appliances. So you know, you get your mobile phone box that it comes in. I know I tend to keep those for some reason and then end up just getting rid of them months down the line when I could just get rid of them straight away. Number 21 is dead plants, and you might think that you might be able to revive them come spring, summer, or you think you might be able to undo the damage you've done by killing them. I can speak firsthand. I have killed many a plant over the last year. And it's sad, but you might have to just end up getting rid of them. You can always buy new plants or propagate the ones you already have into new plants as well. I like to do that quite often. Number 22 and 23 are very similar, and that is old bed sheets and old towels. You've probably been gifted new ones over the years, maybe for Christmas or something. I know my mum loves to buy me that kind of thing, and the old ones you obviously don't want to get rid of because they're fully functioning, but they might have stains on them. They may just be sort of getting really bobbly or losing their nice texture, so perhaps think about getting rid of some old towels. Like I say, you probably only need one each per person in the household and maybe a spare. Number 24 is pens that do not work. And you probably think you don't have any of these, but definitely go through all your kitchen drawers and side tables, because I can guarantee you'll probably find a pen that doesn't work in there. 25 is old documents, and you probably have a folder where you store all your bills and documents and important pieces of paper, but make sure you do go through those regularly, because you'll probably find that you've got things in there from 3 years ago in a job that you haven't worked in for ages, and you probably don't need them. And don't forget, you can access a lot of your bills and stuff online now, so you might not need to keep the paper version. Number 26 is storage solutions, and I mean these sort of anything like wicker baskets that you keep stuff in, plastic containers, trays, bins, anything you use to store. And while they can be really great for organisation, they themselves could end up being a bit cluttered, so make sure you only really have what you need when it comes to storage supplies and don't go too overboard. Number 27 is out of shape pillows. Especially if you have spare ones, you might as well declutter the ones that are all out of shape and not very comfortable, because you can end up doing some damage to your neck and back as well. Number 28 is old cards, and I mean like the ones that you keep in a wallet, whether that's membership cards or old credit cards. Get rid of them. I literally have my debit card and my ID, and that's all I use. Number 29 is old pet toys. And also number 30 is old pet supplies, so whether that's treats that they don't like and have been sitting in the cupboard for ages, harnesses, collars, that kind of thing that you're no longer using, and old toys that the pets don't use anymore. You can always donate these to local shelters, and I'm sure they'd be really, really grateful to have some extra supplies for their little furry friends and less stuff in your home, so it's a win-win situation. Number 30 is unused kitchen appliances, and I would probably say if you haven't used it in a year, then look to sell it or pass it on to somebody else. Whether that's the slow cooker that's been sitting in your cupboard for a year and you've literally never used it, or perhaps it's blenders or juicers, anything like that that take up a lot of space in the home as well will be good to declutter. Similarly, any kitchen tools that you don't tend to use, whether that's like, I don't know, graters or peelers or things to squeeze fruit with, anything like that, then, and that you don't really use that often, that just tend to sit in the tools drawer, then definitely give those up. I'm pretty good when it comes to kitchen stuff, like I'm pretty brutal and will just get rid of anything that I don't use regularly, because I like to keep all my kitchen drawers pretty ship-shape. Which moves us on nicely to number 32, which is old cutlery, in particular knives that aren't sharp, but also just like any old mismatched cutlery that you've probably accumulated over the years, then look to declutter those. Another kitchen related one, and that's out of date food. Definitely go through all your cupboards and look at all the cans that have been shoved to the back, and you probably will find a few out of date items that you can bin. Number 34 is cracked or stained Tupperware that you're not reaching for those reasons. Number 35 is mugs. I do love a good mug, and I've got quite a few, but I do tend to whittle them down regularly to the ones that we gravitate towards using. Any sort of novelty ones can be donated generally. Number 36 is physical junk mail, so any flyers or local gazettes or takeaway menus that come through the post. Probably best to just get rid of those straight away, because they do tend to just clutter up drawers and things like that. Number 37 is discoloured jewellery, and especially if you've bought sort of cheaper jewellery over the years, which I definitely have, and they tend to discolour pretty quickly and go really horrible and green, you can definitely look to reduce some of those items in your jewellery collection. And then maybe moving forward, save up a little bit more money and buy like kind of more expensive but better quality items, like gold plated tends not to discolour at all. Number 38 is makeup brushes. I'm sure there are a couple that you could get rid of now and not miss. And number 39 is makeup that you haven't used in at least a year. So if you haven't picked up a makeup item in your collection for a year, then it's probably time it goes. Number 40, we're on the home stretch, is SPFs, and they expire really quickly. So if you've had it for any longer than a year or 18 months, then probably best to declutter that and get a new one if you need one. Number 41 is old nail varnish that's gone thick and gloopy, and if you haven't got a nail varnish thinner, then you might as well just declutter those old polishes. And if you haven't finished them up and they're old, then that probably tells you something, and that's that you're not using it very often. Number 42 is old underwear, for obvious reasons. Number 43 is novelty clothing, and I'm probably thinking of like fancy dress or Halloween costumes. You'll probably never wear them again, and if you do require a new costume, you can always rent one, and they're pretty cheap, and then you don't have to have the clutter in your house. 44 is excess hangers, and if you're decluttering your wardrobe, then you probably have quite a few excess hangers lying around. You can always donate these to charity shops. I'm pretty sure they accept them because they're quite grateful to be able to hang up all the clothes that they get donated to. Number 45 is odd nails or screws. Go through that toolbox, get rid of anything that you have no idea where it belongs or what it does. Number 46 is decorating supplies, and I mean things like half-used paints, bucket of paints and wall filler, stripper, anything like that. 47 is old devices that you're just hanging on to because they were probably expensive purchases. A bit like the mobile phones, but I'm thinking more like laptops, Kindles, TVs even. You might be able to sell them for a little bit of cash, and if not, then you can put them on Facebook Marketplace and someone will probably come and pick them up and find use out of them. Number 48, we're nearly there, I promise, is old keys, and I'm 100% guilty of this. I think I've got a key from my old house 2 houses ago that I really need to get rid of. So if you've got like loads and loads of keys hanging around, then definitely go through them, and then you'll know exactly which one goes where. 49 is craft supplies, and you probably have an abundance of envelopes and ribbons and all sorts stashed away somewhere, so definitely make sure you go through your craft supplies. If it's a sewing machine you haven't used in like 3 years, then definitely look to declutter that. And the last one is sentimental items, and I know this can be really difficult because obviously you're clinging on to it for a reason, but if it's not bringing you joy, or if it's stashed away somewhere anyway and you can't really see it, then you might be able to let go of it. So that is my quick fire 50 things you can probably get rid of out of your house today. And I could probably do a part 2 of this if you wanted to see another one, because I can think of quite a few more things as well, but this is already a really long video and I don't want to bore you, so I'll leave it there for today. But if you want to see a part 2, then let me know in the comments, and if you're new to my channel, then please do subscribe. I would absolutely love that, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!